The Sutherland family has traveled to the Grande Prairie chuckwagon race in Alberta, Canada, to watch Dad compete. Mark, a father of two, is from a legendary family of racers. He takes the lead, but his dad, who is a racer himself, knows something's not right.
I could tell that he was in deep trouble. There was something wrong.
Mark's parents, Kelly and Debbie, wife Dina, and daughter Kira, are gripped by fear as Mark suddenly goes airborne.
When Dad flew out of his wagon, I knew his life was in danger.
Mark falls between the spinning wheels of the runaway wagon. They're scared he'll be crushed to death.
We got all kinds of problems out there.
I was expecting to see Mark laying on the track.
The camera catches Mark trapped under the runaway wagon, but it's only after it speeds past the Sutherlands at 40 miles an hour that the full horror hits them right between the eyes.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable.
Mark is dragging underneath the wagon, holding on just inches away from the ground, right behind the horse's thundering hooves.
I felt like I was going to faint, but I couldn't faint because I had to watch.
Mark, believe it or not, is hanging onto the reach underneath that wagon.
Thousands have traveled to Alberta, Canada to catch the big race of the Grande Prairie Stampede. Kelly and Debbie Sutherland made the trip to watch their son Mark compete. Kelly Sutherland is a legend of chuckwagon racing.
I've won 12 world titles.
But on this day, Mark's at the reins. His wife Dina and their daughter Kira are right next to Mark's parents, cheering him on.
Chuckwagon racing is so great because I get to be with my family all the time.
Chuckwagon racing has its roots in the cowboys of the old American West. A 1,300-pound wagon is pulled by 4 thoroughbreds galloping at up to 45 miles an hour. There are no brakes and no suspension.
Chuckwagon racing does have a dangerous element, but Mark is a cool-headed character.
But Mark's cool head is about to be put to the ultimate test. As he prepares for the start, Dina and her friend see something odd.
Our horses were getting a little bit rambunctious. Then my girlfriend noticed that something was dangling on Mark's harness.
His family doesn't know it yet, but Mark is on a fast track to disaster, and there's no stopping it.
There's a horn, the charge is underway.
A blast of a horn signals the race is on. Mark grabs an early lead, but then his chuckwagon starts fishtailing.
I seen the wagon starting to swerve.
Mark is in a desperate struggle to control the horses.
In that turn, let's check it out.
Just as another wagon passes Mark on the inside, mayhem. The fast spinning wheels of the 2 wagons touch, and Mark is tossed into the air right in front of his daughter.
It just looked like a rag doll. He's just flying in the air, and then he hit the ground very, very hard.
Mark's family expects to see his battered body sprawled out on the track.
We got all kinds of problems out there.
I'm watching to see this red ball because he was in a red shirt. Where is he? Where is he?
To their horror, they suddenly realize Mark didn't fall to the ground. Right here, you can see his right leg get helplessly tangled in the reins.
If you happen to have the lines wrapped around your legs, you're just drugged again, beat until usually it's very, very severe injuries or fatal.
But in a 1,000,000-to-1 shot, Mark manages to wiggle in between the front and back wheels. The gap is only about 4 feet.
To see it and see him being flopped around like that and know the dimensions of a wagon, it just seems impossible for him to survive that.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable.
Now, he's hanging on for dear life with his family watching and praying.
The chances of him getting up and walking away from that is very slim to none.
Mark's family has seen plenty of these accidents before. They know if he falls, it's over.
Usually when you get run over, you're dead.
Kira is terrified. Her dad's life flashes in front of her.
What are you gonna do growing up without your dad?
Yeah, as a young girl, my father died when I was 10, and ironically, that was the age of our daughter, and that actually crossed my mind.
And this nightmare shows no signs of stopping. The horses are spooked. They're in a full gallop.
Seemed like eternity. How he could be underneath that wagon.
Mark Supplement, he's not in his wagon. He's hanging on to the reach underneath.
Mark's only hope are these two outriders. They're going to risk their lives to stop the panicked horses.
His outriders are going to stop him.
Of course, the worry is for them to be able to stop that wagon.
Mark Supplement is still hanging on to that reach.
And there is another danger. If the outriders stop the horses too abruptly, they could cause a deadly pileup.
They're trying desperately to get this stopped. One of them guys.
It takes 4 outriders and cowboys hanging on the back, using all their strength to finally bring the horses to a stop.
35 years of being on the track. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Wow.
Dina reaches Mark first and finds him already out from under the wagon. She collapses into his arms.
I was hung around the lines with my foot.
I was just relieved that he was up and he was okay.
Mark is bleeding from a head wound, and his mom is almost squeezing the air out of him.
When I ran up to Mark, the first thing I said was, "I love you." And I didn't want to let go.
Kira is the next to reach her dad. She cannot hold back the tears.
I was very upset. When I ran out onto the track, I was just sobbing.
Mark's family is still worried. They want him to get in the ambulance. But first, Mark wants to make sure his horses are all right.
If you know anything about a cowboy, they're always concerned about their horses.
When the incident happened and I flew out of the wagon, I thought, this is gonna hurt. Immediately, I'm dragging beside. I remember looking towards the wheel, and I thought, it's right by my face.
That's when he miraculously reached in and pulled himself between the spinning wheels.
This is the piece that I hung on to. My feet were able to hang on to this axle.
My dad survived his wreck by being a quick thinker, for sure.
The cause of the accident was this tiny bolt. During the race, it sheared off, and the harness came loose. When that happened, Mark could no longer control the horses.
When I watch the video today, I still get teary-eyed and just chills because everything happened perfectly. And if one thing hadn't happened, I don't know that my dad would be here.
We got